Hi, and welcome to the second tutorial in the Python series, creating custom definitions, in which we're using them to make a Python madlib. All right, last time we were able to install the PyTTX module and get the program to both print the text that we chose to the screen and say it out loud. We're going to play around with that text-to-speech feature just a little bit today, and then we're going to incorporate a function so that instead of just saying one line of text, it'll read a whole story to us. So to start, we're going to make a little bit of space in between where we have our engine.connect statement and our text, and we're going to get a couple of different voices. So there's a male voice and a female voice. We're going to tap into those. So we'll create a new variable, voices, which equals engine.get property, and we're going to say voices. All right, and then we're going to want to set this property. So this voices is now got a list with these voice objects in it. We need to say engine.set property voice, comma, and we want to use voices one.id. All right, so if we save that and we go over here and run our program with the text that we still have, python madlib.py.
I am a robot. B-O-O-P.
It did it in the female voice. Now, if I remember correctly, the male version pronounced boop instead of saying B-O-O-P. And so I don't know why the female robot did it that way, but perhaps that's just a different way that those two engines work. In any case, we got the female voice to work. Now, maybe it is the case that you don't care what the voice is, or you want it to randomly pick the voice. So we can add a function that will randomly pick the voice. You go back up to the top, add another import. We're going to import random. And if you haven't seen this before, this is a package that is typically installed with most installations of Python. And so now one of the ways that you can pick a random voice would be to say random.choice voices, and then keep that .id. That .id is an attribute of the voice object, which is special to this class and everything like that. Blah blah blah. In this case, the .id has to be there, or that won't work. So if we save this and we run it again a couple of times.
I am a robot. B-O-O-P.
All right, it was a female voice that time.
I am a robot.
It's a female voice this time.
I am a robot.
Okay, so again, confirm that the male voice says boop, and also that it's random. It picked the female voice twice, it picked the male voice on the third chance. So we'll just keep it like that for now, and now we're going to install some other feature so that it just reads from a list of lines. So if I were you, I would just copy and paste the lines that are in the description for this tutorial, and so I have them copied here somewhere probably. Okay, so we just copy that in there, and now we can see that we have a whole story. So we started by creating an empty list, lines, and then we appended to that list several lines that are going to be part of our story. And so we can get rid of this text, or just comment it out at least. And we'll comment out this line too, so that we have no confusion later on. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is we want to create a definition. We're going to create some space between where our story is and where we've set our engine properties and all that. We'll create a new definition. This is our first real custom definition. We're going to create a function that will return a noun. So to return a noun, we'll need to provide the noun because this is a madlib. So we're going to just call this function getNoun. And it doesn't require any input into the function, but the function getNoun will work in the following way. You will have a query, and the query will say, give me a noun, and press enter. We can capitalize that there. All right. So then we're going to have the engine say this query out to us. So we'll engine.say query. And now we'll take some input. So we'll have a new word equals input open close parentheses. This is a function in Python 3 that will then wait for command line input, and once you've entered it and you hit enter, it takes that. And now we want to just return this. Return new word. Okay. So now we'll want to go ahead and request a couple of nouns. So we'll say noun1 equals get noun. And we'll copy this a couple of times. And we'll have noun2, noun3, and noun4. So this should execute this definition 4 times and get 4 different nouns. And now we need to figure out some place to put these nouns in the story. So the way we're going to do that is the following. Here where it says dog, we'll replace dog with %s. And then at the end of this line, we'll say %noun1. And then we'll replace dog catcher here with %s. And at the end of this line, we'll say %noun2. We will replace shakes here, protein shakes, with %s, %noun3. And let's see, we'll replace this last one here with %s. And at the end of that line, %noun4. So we have a program that should ask us for 4 nouns. Then it should, this feature here with the %s means return a string, and then the % tells it what string to look for. We're looking for noun1, so it's going to add that to the lines. So finally, we just need to add a function that's going to boot it up to say these lines and then say them. So, oh, you know what? We forgot to add a really important thing up here. And I'm glad I remembered. Engine run and wait. Okay, so that's really important, and I'm glad we added that. So now back to down here, we will say for line in lines, engine.say line. And that's it. Now if we run our program,
I am a robot. B-O-T.
It does that because we didn't save it. Save first, and then run your program.
Give me a noun, and press enter.
So we'll give it a noun. We'll say car.
Give me a noun, and press enter.
We'll say mouse.
Give me a noun, and press enter.
We will say computer.
Give me a noun, and press enter.
We'll say book.
Now for the story.
Now read the story to
There
us.
was a car with 2 wing arms. The dog was very small and frail. One day a mean mouse spoke to the dog and said, "You are too weak. You must eat frozen computer." The dog was annoyed, but he started exercising daily. Pretty soon, he became stronger and more muscular. Now the dog shows off his book on his own workout video sponsored by E89X. The end.
All right. So we have successfully made a very, I don't know how you'd say it, bottom of the line madlib here. And so we're going to spend a little more time making the definitions a little more functional for us. But hopefully you were able to get this far. And so if you're not, keep tweaking it and checking back in this video until you've gotten this much to work. We'll see you in the next video.